Sam F. Davis Day 2023 at Tampa Bay Downs. It is time for the Sam F. Davis Handicapping Show. We are going to go over all 11 races on the card, part of Sam F. Davis Day, which does include the Suncoast Stakes, the Minaret Stakes, and you've also got the Pelican Stakes, hard knocking sprinters going 6 furlongs in the Pelican Stakes. You got Willie Boy. And also in the Suncoast Stakes, you've got a full sister to Malathot. Todd Pletcher brings in Julia Shining. The 2-year-old juvenile champion, Wonder Wheel, she makes her debut as a 3-year-old. That will be in the Suncoast Stakes. And then we also have a 4th stakes race, the Sam F. Davis, race number 10. It's part of an 11-race card. We're going to go over that as well. So thanks for joining us. Again, why we do these handicapping shows. We did them for the Holy Bull Day, and we did them last week as well. We did it also for the Pegasus card. We're going to go over all 11 races. Kind of gives people a chance, if they're handicapping on a Friday night, to listen along. We do these a little bit earlier because then that way people can watch if they get home later on from work, drive time on YouTube, handicap, and kind of listen to some of the thoughts. We'll take your questions. If you have any questions, make sure to get them in here. But again, kind of the goal of the show is to kind of give you my thought process on how I like some of these races, where I think there could be a lot of speed, where I think some closers might shine. I do have a couple of 30 to 1s that I think are going to run well, so I'm going to highlight those in this edition. And then there's some well-bred horses making their debuts in some maiden races that I like as well. So a big card Saturday, Tampa Bay Downs. Sam F. Davis goes as race number 10. Race number 9 will be the Suncoast Stakes. But let's take a look at race number 1. And we're going to start off with, it's a maiden special weight race. And I think this horse will probably go favored. My top selection in race number 1 for Sam F. Davis Day at Tampa Bay is number 8, Arch Runner. This horse is trained by Todd Pletcher, gets Louis Saez, who comes in to ride for Todd Pletcher. Later on in the card, he is going to be riding Litigate in the Sam F. Davis. It's a high-priced repole stable buy, but Tampa Bay for maiden winners has always been a good angle for Todd Pletcher. He brought over Always Dreaming to break as maiden. He brought over Emmanuel to break as maiden. He's brought over the years some of his nice fillies to win races, especially in the Suncoast race. So Todd Pletcher uses Tampa Bay. I think he likes the fact that it can kind of leg him up, gives him a little bit of conditioning, and also a little bit of a drop in class. If you're really pointing for one of those stakes races, you really can't lose in these maiden races and still be able to get in that timeline in some of those stakes races. So my first pick of the day in the maiden special weight race is number 8, Arch Runner, to kick off the card on Sam F. Davis Day. And that is a look at race number 1. Now, when you take a look at race number 2, this one is a claiming race, $8,000 claimers. A little bit of a long shot here. I like number 1, 12 to 1 on the morning line. What I like about this one is it draws the rail. It's had 2 trips over the track, but it had a little bit of disadvantageous pace flows in the last 2 races. This time out, I think he can stretch out from 5.5 to 6.5 furlongs. He'll be on the inside, and I think he's kind of the speed of the race. So I think at 12 to 1, done right, is a horse that you can play in maybe your exactas, trifectas, throw him in a double as a little bit of a price play. 12 to 1 on the morning line, done right, good connections that do tend to win at Tampa Bay. Remember, we're taking your questions on the show. It's all part of the Sam F. Davis Day at Tampa Bay on Saturday. So the daily double, my top selection on the first is the Todd Pletcher trained runner. I'm going to go with Arch Runner in race number 1. And then in race number 2, I'm going with Done Right as my top selection in race number 2. We move along to race number 3. And when you take a look at race number 3, my top selection is going to be Jerkovec. Aqueduct form, good form lines, drops in class. This is one of those horses, what I call a steam horse. They come to Tampa Bay. They've got a purpose. They're going to try to pick up the win here. A big day, good connections, a big crowd, tougher than normal maiden special weight races, maiden claiming races on the day. So I'm going to go with Jerkovec, number 7 horse in race number 3. And I think, I'll kind of recap my top 5 picks here for the first 4 races. But Jerkovec to me is one of the keys of that early pick 5 and pick 4. I think I'm going to use him kind of as a single or on the bigger tickets because I think he's well meant in this spot. And of the first 4 races, Jerkovec is going to be my top selection as my best bet in those first 5 races. Now, when you move to race number 4, this one, we go back to the lawn. We're going to mow the lawn. Race number 4 on the turf, Tampa Bay, all part of Sam F. Davis Day on Saturday. We're going over all 11 races on the card. And my top selection is a 30-1 shot, King Ramos. Now, when I pick a 30-1 shot, really what I'm trying to do here is this is a horse I think you should take a look at. And, do I think he can win? Yeah, I think he's going to probably be about 20-1 in his final odds. I think the morning line is a little off in this race. Sometimes you have to factor that into your handicapping. So I do think the morning line is a little off on this race. But even so, what I like here is he's got some back class in some of those Monmouth races. And he's got some prior form at Tampa. If you go back, his previous races at Tampa were very good. And sometimes at some of the winter races at Tampa Bay in February and March, I like to see horses cycle back to where they did well at. And he did well at Tampa Bay. He drops a little bit in class, and his off the pace races have been his best races. So I'm hoping King Ramos lays back, kind of makes one run at the leaders here. And the last couple of times he's been a little bit closer to the pace. I think if they lay back and make a run, I think he has a shot here to hit the board, or maybe this is one of those long shots that you include in a double or a pick 4 or a pick 5. But yeah, I think King Ramos is definitely a horse you want to consider, or at least take a second look at in race number 4 at Tampa Bay on Saturday. So that gets us through the first 4 races. Let's kind of recap who I have here. If you're just joining the show, or if you're kind of recapping and handicapping along at home, first race, I like the Todd Pletcher trained Arch Runner, makes his debut, good connections. I think he's well meant in this spot. Second race, I like a 12-1 shot, done right, draws the rail. I like the fact that he's stretching out from 5.5 to 6.5 furlongs. Jerkovec is my best bet of the top first 4 races. I think he's going to do well in this spot. And then King Ramos, a long shot in race number 4. He's 30-1. Again, my best bet of those first 4 races is Jerkovec, and he's at 9-2 on the morning line. I think he'll be bet down a little bit lower than that. I think probably about 5-2 or 3-1, but that would be the type of horse that I would single possibly in those first 4 races. So Jerkovec, as you take a look at those first 4 races, my best bet on the Sam F. Davis Day at Tampa Bay. Now, remember, I will be at Tampa Bay. So if you're going to be out there tomorrow, I will be by the paddock circle and be the guy with the camera and the videotaping and watching the horses go from the paddock to the walking ring. So say hi, and hope to see you at Tampa Bay Downs. Be doing some reports live from Tampa Bay on Saturday. Now, race number 5, I'm going to go with Rekindled. This is a first-time starter for Godolphin Blue. Eoin Hardy, he's been a trainer for many years for Godolphin. He brings a few horses a year down to Tampa Bay. Captivating Lass is the mare on this one. Good pedigree. 3 5-furlong workouts and a fast workout on December the 29th. After that, they've been working out a little bit slower. I think they kind of know what they have. They've been strengthening up that conditioning the last 3 races with 5 furlongs. Big day at Sam F. Davis Day, big crowd. I think Rekindled is going to be probably 2-1, 5-2. He's the number 4 horse in the 5th race. I think that's the type of horse you can use in your pick 5. Maybe single him or use him with only one or two horses. I think that fifth race is a race you have to kind of narrow down and get it down to two or three horses. But I do like the fact that he's got a long string of workouts. He hasn't missed any workouts getting ready for his debut here at Tampa Bay. Number 4 in the fifth race, Rekindled, is my top selection. Now we're going to go to race number 6. Again, this horse, 30-1 on the morning line. Again, I'm not sure he's going to be 30-1. Bikini Baby, again, these are the type of horses that I think that you want to consider maybe for your exactas, your trifectas, maybe throw in a shot or at least take a second look at this horse. I think he's going to be more like 20-1, 25-1. I don't think he'll be 30-1. She will be. Second race at Tampa, an even run in the Tampa Bay debut. Best races have been closer to the pace. I think she's going to be closer to a soft pace on Saturday. I don't think the fractions will be fast. So I think Bikini Baby in the 6th race is the type of horse you may want to consider at 30-1 as a chance to maybe hit the board, throw in an exacta or a trifecta. Again, just trying to show you kind of my handicapping process. One of the things I always do is look to see who is going to be in the lead and then who are going to be the closers. And then I always look at the horses. When did they run their best race? So in this race, I think Bikini Baby runs her best races when she's closer to the pace. And I don't see a lot of pace in this race. So that means I think Bikini Baby has a chance to run one of her better races. Now, again, that's just my handicapping. I always kind of start with form lines and class level. Then I go to speed figures. And then I always try to find a race or two that I think represents their best race and their best chance of running a winning race and see if they can match that up on the race day. So Bikini Baby is my top selection in race number 6 at Tampa Bay on Saturday. Don't forget it's Sam F. Davis Day. We've already got a preview of that race up. We've got a preview up of the Suncoast Stakes. We'll be going over those as well. And we did a preview today up of the latest Kentucky Derby updates. And if you can watch that on the channel, smash that like button or share this video with somebody else. Also, now we go to the stakes portion of the card. Race number 7, the Minaret Stakes. Classy horses. This drew one of the better Minaret Stakes in the most recent years. You've got Caramel Swirl. I've always kind of liked this horse off the layoff. She's got speed. She ran on the Kentucky Derby undercard a couple of years ago as a 3-year-old. She makes her debut here in 2023. She's ran in grade 1 races like the Ballerina. And guess what? Junior Alvarado and Bill Mott, the hottest combination in the country the last couple of weeks. They won with Art Collector in the Pegasus Stakes 2 weeks ago. They won last week in the Holy Bull. They won at almost 3-1 odds with Rocket Can, and now they've got Caramel Swirl. Junior Alvarado and Bill Mott also have a race, a horse, Classic Legacy, in the Sam F. Davis that you may want to take a look at as well. But nobody training as well for these big days. Nice to see Bill Mott have a good stable full of horses. And Caramel Swirl, I think, may just have the grade 1 class level here at this race on Saturday. The first of 4 stakes races, race number 7. It is the Minaret Stakes from Tampa Bay. And I think Caramel Swirl could kind of be a player in the sprint division for older fillies and mares in 2023. So that is the Minaret Stakes as we take a look at the card on Saturday at Tampa Bay. Now we're going to move to the Pelican Stakes. And this one, again, when you take a look at the Pelican Stakes, I kind of went with a little bit of a long shot. I'm going with Grand Runner. Now, Grand Runner is another one, 30-1 on the morning line. I think a lot of people are going to like Holy Boy, Willie Boy in that race. And, can't really fault that one. Pelican Stakes, of course, they're going 6 furlongs. Willie Boy, 1 for 3 at Tampa Bay. Last year ran in the Smile Sprint Stakes, ran 4th, ran first in July of 2022 at Gulfstream Park, ran in the Vanderbilt Stakes against Jackie's Warrior, ran in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. Grand Runner's 30-1, going to be a closer. The reason why is I think there could be some speed here with Sibelius, who's 9-5, sharp form, win last time out, ran a 96 buyer, a couple of backs for Sibelius. He'll be the favorite, could be the most likely winner. You might want to take a look at Uphold the Law, ships in from Fairgrounds, but I think Grand Runner is a type of 30-1 shot that can run in the money here on Sam F. Davis Day. So my top selections in races 5, 6, 7, and 8. I've got Rekindled in race number 5, first-time starter, and I think that one's going to run well. Godolphin Blue. Bikini Baby, a long shot in race number 6. Hopefully she can come closer to the pace, and the pace is slow. Caramel Swirl in race number 7 in the Minaret, and then a 30-1 shot, who I think is going to be about 20-1 in race number 8. Of those 4 races, Rekindled is my best bet, more of a single type horse if you're looking for a single anywhere in those middle races on the card, races 5, 6, 7, and 8. So that is first 8 races on the day at Tampa Bay. Remember, share this video, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're joining us in, and also spread that thanks button as we get you ready with more Kentucky Derby coverage. Suncoast Stakes drew a field of 9 horses. We've got Wonder Wheel, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies champion, also a stakes win at Churchill Downs. I think she's going to show speed tomorrow. I think she came off the pace in the Alcibiades Stakes and in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. She drew the 1 hole, so I think that'll keep her closer to the pace. Opus 42 has won back-to-back races. Last time out, she won a head bob over Charlie's Wish. Charlie's Wish came at her late, and then Dreaming of Snow kind of faded in that race. So you've got Opus 42, Charlie's Wish, and Dreaming of Snow all coming out of that race. I think Charlie's Wish and Opus 42 are probably the best 2 horses out of that race. Then you've got Guns and Graces moving up in class off some slow speed figures for Chad Brown, and then a horse for Ian Wilkes, Empire Maker filly. I think 3rd race lifetime. I think she can improve in this spot. This is one, if you're not sold on the top 2 horses, or if you're looking for an exacta type horse, I think Champagne Calling is definitely a horse you want to use in your exactas. So good luck to Mike on Saturday. Mike, watching along here, good luck, Mike, to yourself. Saturday for a big day at Sam F. Davis Day at Tampa Bay Downs. You've got Fast Tracked, Ticker Tape Home, and then Julia Shining. Now, Julia Shining, full sister to Malathot. You know, Todd Pletcher, he has just owned that Oaks Trail the last couple of years. He's had some Ashland Stakes winners. He had Malathot a couple of years ago, win the Ashland Stakes, win the Kentucky Oaks. Last year, he had Nest, win the Ashland Stakes, ran some big races at Saratoga, started off her campaign in the Suncoast. Both those 2 horses started off their 3-year-old years in the Suncoast. So this year, he brings in Julia Shining. Now, Julia Shining, 1, has to face the juvenile champion from 2022. Nest and Malathot didn't have to face that type of horse, but Wonder Wheel, I think, has more speed and drew inside. Julia Shining drew on the outside, and she's been a little bit slower. Now, she broke her maiden at Keeneland, came from off the pace, dead last. It was a very flashy win, but it was a slow speed figure. And a lot of times, Andy Serling always says, you know, in slow races, trips don't count for as much. But sometimes if a closer can get up in a paceless race, if they get more pace in the race, they can maybe have a more impact earlier in that race. So Julia Shining then came back in the Demoiselle, closed from dead last. That was slower fractions. Going to try to stay, either wants a very fast pace or she has to get faster. Now, she is coming in off a layoff, and she's had a long string of workouts. Now, I do think Julia Shining is a distance horse, and she could be ready for races like the Alabama Stakes, races like that. So we'll see. She ran 1 1/8 as a 2-year-old. Todd Pletcher will take his time. He's got other fillies that are 3-year-old, like Munnings, He's got a very fast Munnings filly. So maybe Julia Shining can be that one that waits a little bit further along for development. Going to be interesting to see. The Derby Bandit has joined us from Texas. He is getting ready for the Super Bowl. He says Wonder Wheel is already proven. Again, that's the main question off the layoff. Derby Bandit, I want to see Wonder Wheel on the lead. I think her best race was her race at Churchill Downs when she went almost wire to wire, drew off by 6 lengths. I think she took advantage of a speed duel in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, and in the Alcibiades, Chop Chop took the lead too soon, and Wonder Wheel was able to grab it in the final stride. I think Wonder Wheel can show more speed, and Julia Shining doesn't have the speed, especially with that post position. But Dreaming of Snow and Champagne Calling could be closer to the pace, and I definitely would use an exacta Wonder Wheel over Champagne Calling. So we'll see. Definitely Wonder Wheel, the class, long string of workouts off the layoff. If she develops at all, she could definitely be one of the top 4 or 5 Kentucky Oaks contenders, and you can see her tomorrow at Tampa Bay, part of the Suncoast Stakes, which is race number 9 and part of the late pick 5. So that is the Suncoast Stakes. I've got a full preview of that up on the channel if you want to watch. We've also got the Sam F. Davis. Let's take a look at that field. It includes Worthington, who is going from turf to dirt for Mike Maker. And Mike Maker, he does this. He can win races on the dirt with turf horses. A lot of times a good turf horse can run one good race on the dirt. And this might be a way to pick up 20 Kentucky Derby points. Remember, points are all the way throughout the 5th place finisher. Worthington, turf to dirt in this spot. Prairie Hawk, I think, is going to get some play. Saffie Joseph, the trainer, won back-to-back races at Turfway, Tampa Bay Downs, won the last time out, went wire to wire. The problem is that was a 4-horse field, and he may not have been the best horse that day. I thought the 2 closers were up against it that time. Prairie Hawk, a 46 and change bullet workout the other day, seems to be in form, and the pedigree is a top-notch pedigree to improve here at the distance. So Prairie Hawk, I think, definitely is a contender. Classic Legacy is a half-brother to Art Collector, trained by Bill Mott, written by Junior Alvarado. First race at Tampa. Speed figures are a little bit slower. Derby Bandit going with 5, 7, 11, 2 in the Sam F. Davis. He's going with Groveland. We'll talk about him in a moment. Then you've got WNL, the Remsen Stakes winner, and then Litigate, the 11 horse. So Laver is another horse you may want to consider. Last time out, he had the 12th post position at Gulfstream. That was a full field, and speed figure came back a little bit slow, but I think there was some good runners. He was wide down the backstretch. He kind of broke outward out of the gate in that race, if you watch the replay. So he lost a little bit of ground at the beginning of the race. Chips in here, a little bit of a drop in class, draws inside some of the other speed. And I think Laver, definitely at 15-1 is the type of horse you want to use in your exactas and trifectas. Now, Groveland, this one is a Godolphin horse, well-bred horse, ran at Tampa, went wire to wire a couple races back, nosed out a win, has faced some good horses. So I think Groveland is definitely the type of horse you could use in a pick 3 or pick 4. Groveland definitely with a trip over the track. Remember, sometimes it seems like every year there's always one horse in the Sam F. Davis who kind of just spins his wheels and doesn't run well on this race. Now you've got Classic Car Wash, Mark Casse with 2 runners in here. He also has Champion's Dream. Classic Car Wash won back-to-back races, both on the front end. He's got a lot of speed. I think he is going to be sent in this race to ensure a fast pace. With Prairie Hawk and Classic Car Wash and Groveland and Dreaming of Kona, we should have a lot of speed in this race for the Sam F. Davis. So definitely, I think we're going to get an honest pace here in this race. Then you go to 7 WNL. Won his maiden race in the slot from off the pace, then won the Remsen, being on the pace or near the pace, fight to the wire against Arctic Arrogance. Arctic Arrogance runs in the Withers tomorrow. WNL with that proven Remsen Stakes form, but sometimes those horses out of the Remsen They run a mile and an eighth as a 2-year-old, and they don't run well off the layoff. So you definitely have to take a long look at WNL in this spot. Noda, a win at Tampa. And then you've got Champion's Dream. Now, Noda, I notice, is entered on Sunday against Kingsbarn in an allowance race. So he may scratch out of this race. Nota is also entered on Sunday at Tampa Bay in an allowance race. Now, Champion's Dream is a closer who needs pace, won the Nashua Stakes, lost the last time as the favorite in the Pasco, gets a lot more pace this time around, and Dreaming of Kona definitely ships in from Gulfstream Park. Then you've got Litigate, who ran in a nice allowance race the last time. Some well-meant horse with Rudder's Men. You had Litigate, you had Cyclone Mischief in that race, and Litigate was wider than Cyclone Mischief, made a mid-race move, has continued to work out well, gets Louis Saez to ship in for Gulfstream to ride Litigate. Strong pedigree. I think Litigate definitely is a type of horse that you can use in this spot. And then rounding out the outside, Zydeco, the winner of the Pasco Stakes, won that wire to wire, a little bit of an upset that day, beat Champion's Dream. Now he's got to try to stretch out to a mile and a 16th here in the Sam F. Davis. So I think 10 or 11 horses. Nota, again, entered on Sunday at Tampa Bay, may scratch out of this field. Speed of the race is Prairie Hawk, Groveland, Classic Car Wash, and Dreaming of Kona, along with Zydeco. Just off the pace, you've got Worthington, Classic Legacy, and Laver, along with WNL. And then Litigate, probably going to be a closer in this spot. But a competitive Sam F. Davis, race number 10 on Saturday. My top selection, top contenders are WNL, Litigate, Prairie Hawk, Classic Legacy, Champion's Dream. Those are all horses. Bill says he likes WNL, and he's also adding in the one horse, the Mike Maker horse, going turf to dirt. Not a bad ad, Bill. I think he could be Mike Maker can, his horses are always in shape. He has moved horses definitely from turf to synthetic, and he also likes to switch horses from turf to dirt, especially at Gulfstream. He wins with a couple of those horses at Saratoga, and his horses are usually in shape, especially with 3-year-olds. We don't know exactly what type of form they have. So definitely you can use that one horse, I think. My top selection is Litigate. I like the fact that he ran a strong race at Aqueduct. First start at Tampa, that worries me a little bit. I like the fact that he had a wide trip in the last time. And Louis Saez, that 11th post is tough to win out of at Tampa Bay. So he's going to have to save some ground and get out of the gate and maybe set up shop in the middle of the track. He doesn't want to get too far behind. Now, race number 11 is on the turf at Sam F. Davis tomorrow day. My selection is Graham Motion trained, the girl from Ireland, number 12, 10-1 on the morning line. I think it'll be about 7 or 8-1. Graham Motion made a mid-race move. I like the fact that it gets a big field this time. I think he's going to be able to lay further back and then make a move. So I like the 12 horse, the girl from Ireland, to close out the day. On the turf, mowing the lawn, a small chance of rain, about a 30-40% chance of rain at Tampa on Saturday. I will be out there giving reports from the paddock, doing some live streams throughout the day before each race, getting some photos for you. Derby Bandit says for his double, he's playing race 9, number 1, Wonder Wheel. Race 10, he's going with Groveland and Litigate, and he's hoping to get a price with Groveland. And Groveland should be about 8 or 9-1. Litigate probably about 5 or 6-1. So he's going to keel Wonder Wheel as his key in that late double on Saturday for the Derby Bandit. And lots of ways to go. Again, kind of recapping some of my earlier picks. Races 5 through 8. I've got Rekindled, Bikini Baby in race 6, Caramel Swirl in race 7, Bill Mott, Junior Alvarado. My best bet of those 4 races in the middle is Rekindled. I think it's well meant in this spot. And then going back to the first 4 races, I've got Arch Runner in race number 1, Todd Pletcher trained, first start of his career. Done Right, a 12-1 shot in race number 2, and Jerkovec in race number 3. King Ramos, a 30-1 shot you may want to take a look at in race number 4. And Jerkovec is my best bet of those first 4 races as you take a look. at the card on Saturday. 11 races on Saturday. Don't forget, on the channel, I've got a video up on Arabian Nights' first 2 starts. Looks like he's going to come back for the Arkansas Derby for trainer Bob Baffert. The Wither Stakes, we got that tomorrow. Sam F. Davis, a preview. I did a Kentucky Derby leaderboard update today. If you want to see the latest Kentucky Derby news, remember, thanks. Smash that like button, share these videos with all your handicapping friends, and good luck to everybody on Saturday. We're going to have a recap Saturday of over the weekend of the card, and then we'll have a preview up Sunday of the Risen Star Stakes. That is next Saturday, Fairgrounds, the Rachel Alexandra. Hoosier Philly going to run in the Rachel Alexandra. And then we've got Victory Formation going in the Risen Star, going to take on Determinedly and some other good horses. So hopefully this helps you. Sam F. Davis Day at Tampa Bay. And good luck to everybody from Derby Bandit betting in tomorrow, then parlaying all of his daily double winnings. He's going to bet on the Eagles to win the Super Bowl on Sunday. And then he's going to come back and bet it all to win on the Houston Astros next year in the World Series. So that is a look at the Sam F. Davis Day. Remember, if you have any questions and you watch this after the show, leave a question and I will answer it either in my Derby update, or next week I'm doing a Friday, another stream for all the races on Saturday for Risen Star on next Saturday. So Friday, we're going to do a video, all the races, 12 races, go over all of them, get you ready for Risen Star Day. If you have any questions, either email me. Remember, subscribe to the Derby Prospectus. Thanks to everybody for subscribing. 2,000 words every week. You can find the details in the description as we get you ready for the Triple Crown 2023 right here on the channel.